All right, let's jump right in.
Oh, good.
Today we're going to be talking about seed funding in the UK.
Okay.
And this is a deep dive based on a guide that was produced by SeedLegals.
Right.
So for all of you out there listening, you've got a great business idea.
Yeah.
Maybe you're just getting started. You need some fuel
Right.
to launch that business idea, and that's where seed funding comes in.
Absolutely.
So maybe we can just back up for a second
Sure.
and talk about what seed funding is exactly.
Yeah. So seed funding is the very first money that a company will raise.
Okay.
It's about taking your idea and turning it into something tangible.
So it's not just about the money.
No, it's about so much more.
It's about getting the expertise, getting the validation from investors.
Still got it.
So some founders, they try to bootstrap
Right.
instead of going down the seed funding route.
Yeah.
Is there a right or wrong answer there?
I mean, ultimately, it comes down to personal preference. But, with seed funding, you can grow much faster.
Right.
You get access to that expertise that we were just talking about.
Yeah.
And you also have the validation from investors.
Like a stamp of approval.
Exactly.
So let's say I'm convinced
Okay.
I want to go down the seed funding route.
All right.
Where do I start?
So it's important to understand that seed funding is typically just one stage
Okay.
in a multi-stage funding journey.
Mm-hmm.
You've got pre-seed, you've got seed, Series A, and it goes on and on.
Right.
Each stage has its own goals.
Okay.
And for seed funding, it's all about proving your concept
Okay.
and showing investors that there's a demand for your product or your service.
So how much are we talking about here for a seed round?
Good question.
Yeah.
In the UK, it's typically going to be anywhere from 500,000 to 1.5 million pounds.
Okay, so that's a decent chunk of change.
Absolutely.
And we talked about building the team, market research, developing a product.
Yeah.
What else does that money cover?
It also covers things like initial marketing,
Okay.
legal fees,
Mm-hmm.
and even rent for office space.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So investors want to know
Right.
that the funds are going to get you to that next milestone,
Yeah.
whether that's launching your product
Okay.
or hitting a certain number of users
Yeah.
or even securing the next round of funding.
So let's say I'm ready.
All right.
Got my pitch deck.
Okay.
How long does it take to actually get the funding?
That's a good question. And traditionally, it can be a long process.
Yeah.
It can take anywhere from 3 to 6 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But there are ways to speed it up.
Okay. I like speed.
Yeah, me too. Everyone does.
That's the secret.
Preparation, preparation, preparation.
So come prepared.
Yeah.
Have everything organized.
Have all of your legal documents ready.
Okay.
Have a cap table, which basically is just a way of
Yeah.
outlining the ownership structure of the company.
Right.
So who owns which piece of the pie,
Got it.
and an option pool.
What's an option pool?
That's a portion of shares that you're going to set aside
Okay.
for future employees.
Right.
So that shows investors
Okay.
that you're thinking long-term
Mhm.
about building a strong team.
Yeah.
And then in the UK specifically, it's really helpful to have SEIS Advance Assurance.
What is that?
Yeah, so SEIS Advance Assurance is essentially
Right.
a pre-approval
Mm-hmm.
from the government
Okay.
that says that your company qualifies
Right.
for the Seed Enterprise Investment Scheme,
Okay.
or SEIS.
Yeah.
And that scheme offers some pretty sweet tax benefits.
So that's good for the investors.
It's good for the investors,
Right.
which in turn makes you more attractive
Exactly.
as an investment opportunity.
So where do you actually find these investors?
So there are several avenues
Okay.
that you can explore,
Yeah.
and they all have their own pros and cons.
Okay.
So you've got incubators and accelerators,
Mhm.
which are kind of like boot camps
Yeah.
for startups.
Mhm.
They're going to provide you with mentorship,
Okay.
resources,
Yeah.
and even a little bit of funding.
Okay. So it's like this support network
Yeah, you
that
got
helps you along the way.
exactly.
What else is out there?
So you also have angel investors,
Okay.
which are individuals who are investing their own capital
Right.
into promising startups.
All right.
And they often bring a lot of expertise
Right.
and connections to the table.
Yeah.
So they become more than just financial backers.
Like a mentor.
Absolutely.
And what about crowdfunding?
Yeah, so crowdfunding has become a really popular
Okay.
way to raise capital,
Mhm.
especially if you have a product or service that really resonates with the community.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you're rallying your early adopters
Yeah.
to become part of the success story.
I like that.
Yeah.
And then there's venture capitalists.
Yeah. VCs.
The big dogs.
Yeah, the big dogs.
So they typically come in at later stages, right?
Typically, they come in at later stages.
Yeah.
But there are some early stage VCs
Okay.
that will focus on seed round.
Okay.
But the important thing to remember
Mm.
is that choosing the right investor
Right.
is about more than just the money.
It's like a marriage.
Exactly.
You got to find the right fit.
Yes, you want to find investors
Yeah.
who align with your vision,
Right.
who share your values.
And who are going to be good partners
Yes, good partners.
throughout the journey.
Absolutely.
All right. So let's say you've done your research.
Yeah.
You've networked.
Mm-hmm.
You found some potential investors.
Right.
Now it's time to pitch.
Time to pitch.
Right.
It's a big moment.
It is a big moment.
Yes, you have to be able to tell your story
Yeah.
in a way that's clear, concise, and compelling.
Mm-hmm.
And there are two key components here.
Okay.
You've got your elevator pitch,
Oh, yeah.
which is that 30-second
Right.
quick snapshot
Yeah.
to grab their attention.
Got it.
And then you've got the pitch deck, which tells the full story.
So let's start with the elevator pitch.
Okay.
30 seconds
30 seconds.
to get their attention.
Imagine you're in an elevator
Okay.
with your dream investor.
All right.
You've got a very limited amount of time
Mm-hmm.
to make an impression.
Yeah.
So your elevator pitch needs to answer 3 key questions.
Okay, Emmy.
What problem are you solving?
Number 1.
What is your unique solution?
Okay.
And why should they care?
All right.
It's like a movie trailer.
Yeah.
It should be exciting,
Okay.
intriguing,
Mm-hmm.
and leave them wanting more.
All right. So now for the full feature film,
Okay.
the pitch deck.
The pitch deck.
What are the must-haves?
It's a story.
Okay.
It's got a beginning, a middle, and an end.
All right.
So you've got to start by introducing the problem,
Okay.
make it relatable.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're going to unveil your brilliant solution.
Right.
Talk about what makes it unique,
Right.
what makes it innovative,
Okay.
and then you're going to paint a picture of the market opportunity.
Show them the potential.
Yes. Show them how big this can be.
But investors want to see the numbers.
Absolutely.
Right.
They do.
So what do we do about that?
You've got to back up your story
Okay.
with solid financials,
Mm-hmm.
but don't just throw a bunch of numbers at them.
Okay.
Create a compelling narrative
Yeah.
around those projections.
Okay.
Show them how you're going to generate revenue,
Right.
manage your expenses,
Mm-hmm.
and achieve profitability.
What about the team?
The team is crucial.
Everyone says that.
Investors are investing in people as
Right.
much as they're investing in ideas.
Okay.
So this is where you really want to showcase your A team,
Okay.
their experience,
Mhm.
their passion,
Yeah.
their unique skills.
Okay.
Prove that you've got the right people to execute on this vision.
What if I'm a solo founder?
Yeah. So honesty is always the best policy.
Don't make up a team.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
But, being a solo founder
Yeah.
doesn't disqualify you. It's
Yeah.
about showcasing your own strengths
Okay.
and your ability to get things done.
Right.
You can also highlight your network
Yeah.
of advisors and mentors
Okay.
because that shows you're being proactive
Yeah.
in seeking guidance and support.
Let's fast forward a bit.
Okay.
You've gotten the funding,
Right.
champagne and popping,
Yeah.
canardi's raining from the sky.
We're celebrating.
We're celebrating.
Yeah.
Are we done?
So it's a huge milestone,
Yes.
but it's not the finish line.
Oh.
It's really just the beginning
Okay.
of a whole new chapter.
All right. So we're at base camp.
Yes.
We're ready to climb Mount Everest.
We're ready to climb. It's like reaching base camp before climbing Mount Everest. The celebrations are short-lived because the real climb is still ahead.
Okay. So we celebrated for a minute, but what happens next?
Now it's all about investor relations.
Investor relations.
Yes.
That sounds a bit formal.
I know it sounds a little bit intimidating, but it is. It's really all about
Okay.
building strong and lasting relationships
Okay.
with your investors.
So it's more than just sending them
Yes.
like a quarterly report and calling it a day.
So much more.
Okay.
It's about keeping them informed,
Okay.
engaged, and excited about the journey.
So how do we do that?
Think of it like nurturing a garden.
Okay. I like where this is going.
You've planted the seeds
Yeah.
with your initial pitch,
Right.
but now you need to water those relationships,
Okay.
provide them with sunlight and nutrients
I'm listening.
so they can flourish alongside your business.
So give me some practical tips.
All right, so communication is key.
Better.
You want to establish a regular reporting cadence
Okay.
that works for both you and your investors,
Yeah.
whether it's monthly updates,
Okay.
quarterly reports, or a combination of both.
Mm-hmm.
Just make sure you're consistent
Right.
and transparent.
So when we're talking about like reports and updates,
Yes.
should we just be hitting them with numbers and data?
Remember, you're telling a story.
Okay.
Yes, data is important,
Right.
but you need to weave it into a narrative
Okay.
that highlights your progress, your challenges,
Mm-hmm.
and the impact you're making.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to share anecdotes,
Yeah.
customer testimonials,
Right.
behind-the-scenes glimpses
Yeah.
into your startup life.
It's got to be engaging.
It has to be engaging.
They don't want to just read a spreadsheet.
Nobody wants to read a boring spreadsheet.
Okay.
And don't underestimate the power
Okay.
of personalized communication.
Right.
Take the time to connect with your investors individually.
Yeah.
Send them a quick email
Right.
to share a recent win.
Okay.
Or give them a call
Mm-hmm.
to discuss a challenge you're facing.
To make it personal.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's all about building those genuine connections.
What about when things go wrong?
Oh, they will go wrong.
Because they always do.
Yes, they always do.
In the startup world.
Absolutely.
So should we try to like hide that or sugarcoat it?
You know, honesty is always the best policy.
Just be upfront.
Be upfront. Your investors have been there, done that.
They've seen it all.
They've seen it all.
Okay.
They know startups face ups and downs.
Yeah.
They'd much rather hear about a challenge early on
Right.
when you can potentially course correct
Yeah.
than to be blindsided later.
Okay. So bring them in.
Yes, bring them in as your allies,
Oh.
your sounding boards,
Yeah.
your cheerleaders.
Okay, I like that.
They're on your team.
Yeah.
Remember, they invested in you
Right.
because they believe in your vision
Yeah.
and your ability to execute it.
So they want to see you succeed.
They want to see you succeed.
Okay.
And often they're willing to help.
So they become like this awesome advisory board
Absolutely.
with a vested interest in your success.
They are vested in your success.
That's amazing.
It is.
Okay, so any other tips?
Yeah, don't forget the simple things.
Right.
Like saying thank you,
Uh,
express your gratitude
Right.
for their support,
mm-hmm.
and be proactive
Okay.
in seeking their guidance.
So essentially, we're turning them into our biggest champions,
Yes.
our most trusted advisors,
Absolutely.
and maybe even our friends.
Maybe even your friends.
Okay, I like that.
It's all about building those strong relationships.
Because seed funding is just one chapter
It's just one chapter.
in the big entrepreneurial story.
Exactly.
Right.
And by nurturing these investor relationships,
Yeah.
you're setting yourself up for success.
Right.
Not just in this round,
Mm-hmm.
but in all the chapters to come.
So we've talked about what seed funding is, how to find the right investors, how to pitch your idea.
And how to build those lasting relationships.
Right. But I think we've reached the summit
Yes.
of our seed funding deep dive.
We've covered a lot of ground,
We have,
but this is just the beginning.
right?
For all of you entrepreneurs out there,
There's a whole world of possibilities.
a whole world.
So keep those entrepreneurial spirits soaring. Keep dreaming big. Keep those innovative ideas brewing.
Absolutely.
And remember,
Yes.
you don't have to climb this mountain alone.
Find the right partners.
Find those mentors.
Get the support you need.
And anything is possible.
Anything is possible.